Hey, it's May, and today we are back at my hairstylist. I'm gonna get a trim up. It's been almost 6 months, but I'm home for Christmas, so I'm getting it trimmed. And I think I'm just gonna ask her a few questions, and she's gonna give us some answers. What type of problems do many people come in with, or like hair things that they might not realize are important to keeping their hair healthy?
A lot of the times people are using the wrong kind of products, which it's not their fault. The market is oversaturated with curly products because people kind of have figured out that curly girls and boys will buy a lot of products. So a lot of times they're just using the wrong product, and that's what's making their hair dry and unmanageable. That's usually the problem.
So how do you know what products to use for your hair?
Yeah, so generally, all people will have, I always use water soluble products. So nothing with heavy oil or like heavy shea butter or anything that's like just straight oil, you know. So yeah, I typically use oil-free. I mean, they have oils in them, but you know, not just oil.
Okay.
I typically use silicone-free, polyquaternum-free. There's a lot of different things that they can use in products to kind of like make them thicker that will build up in your hair.
And so do you like see that in the ingredients, or do you look that up?
I look up the ingredients if I'm curious and I'm not sure what it is. You can Google it and it'll tell you exactly what it's for. Yeah, there's a lot of other things besides silicone that people don't know to look for. So yeah, usually definitely silicone free, polyquaternum free, PEG, phthalates. Those are all things that are, possibly carcinogens and stuff like that. So, yeah, a lot of times people are just really confused about products.
And so you use strictly INNERSENSE, the INNERSENSE brand.
Yep.
How did you decide to pick that?
So I went to a class and I was introduced to the owners of INNERSENSE, which it's a husband and wife, and one of them was a stylist and the other one was in production. So he's been in production for making products for a long time. And they decided to do a line, and they came to one of the classes that I did, and I really liked how in-depth they were about the cleanliness of the product, the water solubility, and also they're like really good about not wasting things. So like good for the environment. A lot of their packaging is recycled. So I liked their vibe, and I really, really liked the product. It's a great product line.
Are there different products for different textures?
Yeah, so this line is not even a specifically curly line, and that's what I would say to a lot of people. Like, look at ingredients and not if it's for curls or not. So you want, more than not, you want something for curls that's clean, it's not going to build up in the hair and make the hair dry and not get the water. Because the most important thing for hydrating curls is the water, which is why I'm putting your product on very, very wet hair. But yeah, you can use some of the same, like I could use these same products on my hair if I wanted to. I would just use it in a different way or use less. So yeah, it's a really good line for everyone to use, all different hair types. Curly, straight, it makes everybody's hair nice.
And so I have different textures in my hair and different porosity.
Yes.
And the products work throughout. Is that just because of how good the ingredients are, or is it's just a matter of how much you put time into making it go in?
Yeah, a lot of it is like actually pushing it into the hair with the water. But like you said, you have like kind of two different textures. Like this cream works on both. It'll work on high porosity or low porosity, just in the places where it's like a little bit more porous. I'll use a little bit less product. So you can kind of switch it up depending on like where you're at on your head.
And so more porosity means that it absorbs water more?
Yes, it absorbs more water. And then lower porosity, it's harder for it to absorb water, and it also wants to stay in there, which is why your hair is wet for so long. It doesn't want to let it go once you get it in. Yeah, a lot of it is how you put it in too. Like you can see, I'm kind of like, it's really like you're pushing the product and the moisture into the hair. If I slow it down, I'm squeezing it in with my fingers.
So what do you think about using brushes to get definition?
I'm not against it. I think that anything that works for you, and as long as you're doing it on very wet hair, it works really well for some people. So I'm not against it. I just am used to using my fingers. So, but if you like the way that it looks, why not? You know, won't hurt. It won't hurt. As long as your hair is wet, you can manipulate it however you want. It's when it's dry that it starts to become a problem if you run a comb through it. Yeah, as long as it's wet. If you want to use a comb, if you want to use a comb, a brush, a Denman brush, a lot of people really like those. Sometimes I do. It depends on the hair. I have some people that are, you know, their hair is just like tanglier. So I'll use a brush because it's just easier to get the definition.
Did you always know that your hair was curly?
So it was wavy when I was a little kid. And then kind of when I hit puberty, it got really, really curly. It was curlier than it is now. Yeah, when I was about 11 or 12, it kind of started getting a little curlier. Yeah, and it's actually a little less curly now than it was like when I was in high school.
So really, it's like curls change all the time.
Curls change, yeah. Especially with female hormones. We have a lot of different hormonal changes in our life, and so I feel like my hair has changed like 3 different times by the time I turned 40, you know.
I don't have one. I should, honestly.
Gotta kind of rock with whatever happens.
Do you always do like a leave-in and a gel, or how do you know? Like,
Depending on the hair, typically like your hair type, I do like to use a cream and a gel. If your hair was like super low porosity all over, I wouldn't use a cream because creams don't tend to penetrate as well on lower porosity hair. So yours is not super low on top because it does penetrate, but you can see on like the less porous hair, it kind of sits on top.
No, I'm good, thank you.
But it will sink in on your hair. It just depends on the person. But yeah, I tend to use less creams and more just gel on lower porosity hair.
so are you able to do that? Like, you usually think that you get moisture from the cream, but it's from
Water.
water.
Yeah, the cream I really use to like kind of soften the curls and give them like a little bit of weight.
Okay.
And then the gel, usually gels, typically they are either aloe vera based or flaxseed based, and those are going to be a humectant, which a humectant is the thing that holds in the moisture. It gives you that cast. Aloe vera is one of the best humectants.
Is not a problem for you.
So are mousses, do they do the same as gels?
Typically, yes, but a lot of times, in my experience anyway, the gels typically have a harder hold.
Okay.
So a lot of times people like will use gels for their wash and goes, but like they might use a foam for a twist out.
Yeah.
Because if they want to it just depends on what look you're looking for.
Okay.
If you like that big fluffy soft look, you could use a cream and a foam. It kind of just depends on what you want your hair to do. I like to add water to the lower porosity bits. That kind of helps the product work in a little bit more. If you're ever doing it yourself, you'll notice that on those lower porosity bits without the extra water, you're kind of like struggling to get through it a little bit.
I just have to keep on adding
Keep
water.
on going. Yeah, got to add that water in there. It really helps. And that's why you use water soluble product, because you're mixing it with so much water. You want it to like make the product move.
Would you suggest more water than product whenever it's like these areas where it's harder to?
Definitely more water and more product. Both.
So both.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want a really controlled look, yes, more water and more product. And then like, say you accidentally put too much product in, you can add water it down.
Yeah.
Throw your cream in, put your gel in. Yeah, the cream works pretty well for you. It does seep in. Your hair's not like the lowest porosity.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely lower than the bottom.
And then with brands, they usually have multiple different products.
Oh yeah.
And like, say for cream, they might have 2 or 3 different creams.
Right. Yes.
How do you know which one is the one that you should get? Or do you just try it out and like?
I know like, a lot of curly hair is kind of like trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
But like for instance, I have 3 different creams in this line. One of them is the one that's in the little jar, and that one I use for people that have this like kind of really fluffy, wavy hair, kind of like I have.
Yeah.
Because it tends to not want to like clump.
Okay.
So I use the one in the jar for people's hair that like is like clump challenged.
Okay.
Because it has honey in it, and the honey kind of like makes those hairs clump together. Then the next one up is the Serenity Smoothing Cream. That one I use typically if anybody ever wants a blowout. It's a great blowout cream. I don't do very many of those, obviously, but it is a good blowout cream. And then I also use that one as like kind of a lighter version of the Quiet Calm Curl Control, which is what I use on you. So I would probably, like if I was gonna do a cream, I would probably use that one.
Okay.
And then the Quiet Calm Curl Control is the heavier of the 3. So that one you can use on thicker, wavier hair that's low porosity. You can use it on slightly lower porosity, like medium to low porosity hair. It's just a little bit heavier.
Okay.
So I like to use that one for thick hairs.
And so is the product thick? When you say heavier, is it like thicker, or is it like the ingredients in there?
It's mostly like the oil makeup and essential oils in there. But yeah, like I feel like the curl control is like a teeny bit like physically heavier.
Okay. And so did you take specific classes to learn how to do curly hair?
Yes, I did Diva Curl at the Diva Curl Salon in New York City. That was the advanced class. Then I did 2 different 4-day intensives. One was in New Hampshire, and that one was on like waves and curls. And then I did another one in Washington, D.C. that was on like curls and coils. So I've done 2 4-day intensives, and like they were like specific to curl types, which is nice. And then I have a colleague that is also an INNERSENSE educator, and I follow her online, and I've learned a lot of the tricks that I've learned about hair types like yours, the tighter curls and coils, I learned from her. And yes, she's a black woman. Yes, you got to listen to the people that have been dealing with this hair their whole life, you know? Like, I don't have this hair, so I had to learn from someone that does. Yeah, a lot of it is, you know, learning from each other.
With the shampoo process, how do you know, like you do a detox and you sometimes do a scrub?
Yep.
How do you know what to use for those and what their purpose is?
Yeah, so generally, all new clients get a detox, usually a detox and a scrub. And then usually returning clients, I do like sometimes I do both, sometimes I do one or the other. It just depends. Like I'll look at your scalp before we go, and I'm like, if it's not too flaky, we'll just do the detox. Yeah, it just depends. I kind of just address what each person needs. But I almost always do a detox because my clients usually come in every few months or so, so it's just nice to kind of do a nice reset every few months anyway, if you're not going to do it at home, you know. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to do it at home. Just do it for me here.
And so with the detox reset, you are able to do that at home? That's like a play thing, or does products?
It's a charcoal, shea butter, and apple cider vinegar mask. So it's really good about pulling any kind of buildup off of there without drying it out. And a lot of times people will use like clarifying shampoos, and those are like a lot rougher on the hair than this is. it doesn't dry the hair out. It actually moisturizes it.
How often would you use it if we were to do it at home?
Depending on, like, if you're using all clean products, like, you don't really need to do it that often, like, maybe once a month or so. And then if you're using, like, definitely there's people that are like, I'm gonna keep using this product because I like it. And I'm like, okay, we'll just detox like every couple weeks. And then your hair will be able to get moisture. But, you know, I wish everybody would use the products I tell them to use, but that's not the case most of the time. You can only, like, kind of do your best.
So I just try a whole bunch of products.
Yeah, it's fun to try.
Yeah, but are there any specific ones that you often see people use that you're like, you should not? Yes.
Yes. And see, I won't say unless people specifically ask me, because I don't like to like trash talk products, but I don't know about like everything in the line, but there's a specific styling product that is from Shea Moisture that I do not love. And the reason being is it builds up and it smells mildewy almost.
Oh.
So when I get someone with that product in their hair and I take them back there and the water hits it, it's like a mildew cloud hits you in the face.
Oh man.
And you're like kind of like kind of gag a little. That one I'm like, please no, not that. And a couple of clients have reported hair loss from Curlsmith of all things.
Curlsmith?
Yeah, it's like a pretty expensive line.
Yeah.
So you would think that it would be cleaner. I don't know, because it's like about the same price as this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like generally I'm just like, I try to direct people to like use something that's not gonna build up. And whether that's like something a little cheaper somewhere else, okay. It's just really hard to find cheaper clean products. You also have to like pay a little more to get something really good. But then sometimes, like, you know, Curlsmith, you pay a little more and it's great for your hair. So like price doesn't necessarily mean it's better or worse. Like there's some products that are like cheaper. Like I have a gel over there that I really like that you can get at Target. And it's just because I'm not against people going to the store to get product. I'm just against people using product that doesn't work for their hair and wasting money.
So do you have to use it to know that it builds up, or how would you know?
I can usually look at the ingredients and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely going to build up because they're non-water soluble ingredients.
Okay.
But so then you can also tell, like if someone is like, oh, I'm not going to get products this time, I'm going to use what I got at home. Okay. The next time they come in, I'm going to have to do like, you know, it's going to be built up again.
Okay.
Like you can just kind of tell by the way the water hits the hair. It's almost like it makes it less porous, but it's just because there's like kind of a film of product stuck to the cuticle of the hair.
So I've been using the Pattern Beauty Leave-In and the Extreme Gel.
Yeah. How do you like it?
I really like that. It's been like my favorite. I like whenever I'm in a rush and I'm like, I need my curls to turn out great. I just throw that on
and if it works,
work it in.
Good for you. And I love Tracy Ellis Ross. So.
Yeah.
I just haven't checked like all the ingredients in her product. I like her. And typically on tighter curls, I don't scrunch them as hard because they're already gonna shrink. So we kind of almost want a little bit of water in there to give it like a little bit of weight. And like, you know, you typically drier at the root and lower porosity at the root, so to leave a little bit of that moisture in there. And then the moisture that's left at the root will like run down the ends.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it to the end, comment a yellow heart. I think I want to try doing this. But I love my curls, and I just asked her questions for me and just questions I thought people would want to know. I hope you found the answers to these questions helpful and that you learned something. Let me know what you learned, or if you knew something or any products you like or think that should not be used. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share with a friend. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah.